Guys, more than half of men over 40 experience ED in some form. They're myths about ED. Like, it's just part of getting older. You have to accept it. Guys, that isn't true. This is why I want to tell you about our sponsor, Peter MD. If you think you might be suffering from erectile dysfunction, you can get help from Peter MD today. Guys, the process is simple. You're going to purchase medicine from a variety of oral options, and you're going to complete the medical intake forms that get emailed to you upon purchase. A doctor is going to review the intake forms. Then he's going to contact you and see if there's any concerns. If there are no concerns, the medicine is ordered with a U.S. licensed pharmacy, and it's going to get shipped in a discreet, beautiful package right to your door. You're then going to get an option to refill anytime through the custom Peter MD patient portal for a lifetime with one follow-up per year with your provider. Peter MD is growing exponentially, and it has over 3,000 reviews to back their reputability. So help yourself get back on track with your sexual performance and get 15% off any ED product with my code RISEUP at checkout, or just click on the link below. Cory Sandhagen, guys, I have been nothing but hard on Cory. And I've been hard on Cory because he wasn't following his own division. And he did an interview, and he just didn't know the interworkings. I gave him a hard time. We call it Sandhagen, right? And I can keep doing that. I can keep talking about the night that the man was in a cage fight. His head was anything but of soundness, and he didn't speak to my liking. I can keep doing that. But if I don't do that anymore, I don't have anything in his career to pick on him for, and I do mean nothing. That guy is great. Period. Like, full stop. What he can't do is wrestle. That's true, but that's according to him. He's openly told people this. And when you let him go on his feet, or when you think, all right, I'm going to go match him on his feet, ooh, we got crazy fights, man. Crazy knockouts, spinning kicks. I mean, the guy's special. He can go 5 rounds. He can push. He doesn't care who the opponent is. He doesn't care if he's the end of the night, if he's open of the night. He doesn't care if it's short notice, big fight, small fight. I mean, it's just one of these things that he represents the mindset and the attitude of the guys that we like. And if you want to keep picking on him, I would love to know how you're going to do it. If you want to be like me and you would rather be negative than positive, you just want to go around and be cranky guy. What are you going to say about Cory? I mean, what are you going to say? It's Brett Okamoto came out, and he gave Cory a huge compliment, and it was in the form of a tweet. And Brett Okamoto knows what he's looking at. And he knows the sport. I would be very surprised. You grab Brett and go, hey, have you ever missed a UFC? Have you not seen an event? I think the answer is probably no. And Brett came out on social media after Cory's victory over Rob Font and said that Cory Sandhagen should be considered in the conversation for BMFs. If we're going to move the belt, or we're going to move it divisions, if we're going to redo the BMF. It wasn't necessarily to be literal that Brett was trying to get a fight going at 135 pounds for the BMF title. He was trying to give a compliment to the attitude and the style of Cory Sandhagen, and I see it. And by the way, I bring up the fact that he can't wrestle because that statement was made by him, and it had truth when he said it 3 years ago. You can't watch what he did Saturday and continue to say it. By the way, Rob Font is as nasty as they come. And you don't need to look at his records. You don't need to know that he was number 3 in the world. You don't need to remember that he was just one hand raise away from being in a world title fight, which he might have won. Now, 135 pounds, right? 135 pounds, you don't match those guys. It's any given night. Rob Font steps into a main event, this fight, on such short notice that he can't even make the weight class, and says that. He doesn't say no to the fight. He doesn't say change the rounds. He doesn't say do it at a different day. He doesn't say anything. He says yes, and he confesses, by the way, you're not quite giving me enough time. I know my body So we can agree to this, and then I can screw everything up at the weigh-in, or we can agree now to spot me 5 pounds. Cool. That was great. That's the exact professional way to handle it. But I have to give Rob that credit, man. You have to know how good Rob Font is before you can really recognize what Sandhagen did. Doing anything to Rob Font is hard to do. Doing it to him twice, I can't remember a time that's happened. I won't tell you it hasn't, but I can't remember it. To do the same thing to Rob Font each round for 5 rounds has never, by anybody, worked. And Sandhagen not only made it work, he made it work with a skill set that he did not have 3 years ago. I'm talking about the wrestling, I'm talking about the takedowns. And there's been a number of people that did not enjoy that match. I won't tell you what to like. As a fan, it's very fun. It's very fun. You can be positive and you're cheering, but you have another energy inside of you too. And if you pay your take and give up your time and you want to use that negative energy and you want to boo, I'm not against it. But I will share with you, if you tell me that you didn't think that was a fun fight, you didn't think it was interesting, you didn't think those positions on the ground, if you tell me that you weren't surprised as well as impressed that Cory Sandhagen, one of the most feared kickboxers, and he's really a trick boxer, by the way. I mean, he will fool you. He is, in his own right, he is as confusing and unique on his feet as Yair Rodriguez. I'm pausing. I'm waiting for you to disagree with me. But when you think that over, you think about that reach, you think about those spin kicks, you think about those jump knees, start to give me the point, don't you? And I just share with you that I don't know that I fully believe you. I mean, if you tell me that wasn't something that was great and that was impressive and that was a very clear and skillful match between two guys who never let up. Both guys were trying to win the entire time. One guy's getting overwhelmed, but he's doing the best he can. I'm talking about Rob Font. He's on bottom. He's trying to find arms and Kimuras, and he's attacking. He's doing everything that he can. Fighting. And if you tell me that you didn't like it, I'm not certain that I believe you. I think that perhaps you jumped on a bandwagon and you used it to get your negative energy out. And I think that Brett Okamoto is the most accurate assessment that I have seen. It was awesome. It was impressive. And it was a surprise. And if that's a tool that Cory Sandhagen now has, it does make him all that more of a threat and all that more scary. And we have a thing in this industry. I mean, it goes back 20 years, which is if you were in a match that is a number one contenders match, or if you were in a match that would have been, even if it's not stated, but it's known, it's in the back, it's going to be a number one contenders match. You know, a week ago, you're getting opponent changes. 3 months ago, when you signed to do it, it was like a lamb going into slaughter. I'm talking about Sandhagen, the matchup between Nurmagomedov and Sandhagen. I mean, the odds came out on that, this is off the top of my head, but I believe it was 4-1. Nurmagomedov, Sandhagen never flinched. So when he gets the call that his opponent's out, we don't even have one for you. We're going to have one. You're still in the card. We're working on it now. And he doesn't blink. You like guys like that, and you want to reward him for it. And so all of a sudden, you bring in Rob Font, who used to be ranked number 3. I don't know what Rob is, so I have to keep going back to what he was ranked. And you make that call, and you tell Cory, here's who we're going to bring in, and here's what it's going to be. Oh, and by the way, I know that we've changed everything on you so far. We're also going to change the weight class. We don't know if that was okay with Cory. We don't know if that was cool in the game. We don't know anything. All we know is he said yes. So now you're happy with the point I'm trying to make is you're happy with him, and then you're happy with him again. Like each move that he does is a move that you're looking for a guy that you want to make number one contender. It's a guy that you can count on. You can't just throw somebody in that position. You can't do it. You cannot potentially put your belt on a guy that you can't count on. So Cory gets tested 3 times that I know of. And he passes the test each time, so everybody's happy with him. Then he goes out and he does what he's supposed to do which is fight hard the entire time, and the entire time he's out there, try to win. That might sound easy to you, to try to win. It might almost a condescending and simple term. Guy, that's hard to do. Hard to keep your mind right. You hear fighters all the time say, I am my biggest enemy. But they don't elaborate to what that means. Right? The fighter wants the fight over. The entire time he's out there, he wants the fight over. And psychologically, when you want the fight over, that's both ways, and that's only for a millisecond. For a millisecond, that includes the other guy wins, but we have resolution and we're done. So you have to fight that millisecond, and then you got to fight again. Okay, you're back in the moment, try to win, everything's going right, and then this weird voice and this door starts to open. And that's called fatigue. That's fight or flight center. That's in every single athlete. So then you fight that voice. You get back in, and that's what the real battle is. The real battle, guys will say, I'm battling with myself, but they don't elaborate what that means. I'm doing my best, I'm going real fast, but I'm trying to tell you guys what that means. So Cory Sandhagen, he does all of these things. Everything's perfect, but now we're mad at him. First off, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you think that wasn't impressive. I don't believe that you think anything less than what Brett Okamoto had the courage to publicly say. And in addition, so now we're mad at him. All right. Right or however we got there. So now he's got one in that column. He banked 3 in the other column. It's 3-1. He's still the #1 contender.